timestamp says 11:47 p.m., but that can't be right. We just finished setting up camp maybe an hour ago, and it was barely getting dark then. Avery's already in her sleeping bag, but I can see she's not sleeping. None of us are sleeping. The fire is wrong. That's the only way I can describe it. When we first got it going, the flames were normal. Orange and yellow, crackling the way campfires are supposed to, but now there's this blue tinge to it, like someone mixed chemicals into the wood. The light it's throwing off feels cold, even though I can still feel the heat on my face. Cam, you seeing this? Avery's voice is barely above a whisper, but in the dead silence out here, it might as well be a shout. I am seeing it. The blue flames dance higher than they should, and there's something hypnotic about the way they move, almost like they're reaching for something. Maybe it's just the wood, I say, but even I don't believe that. Sometimes different trees burn different colors. Avery sits up in her sleeping bag, and I can see her face in the firelight. She's got this look, the same one she had when we were planning this trip. Like she's seeing something the rest of us are missing. That's not how fire works, Cam. She's right, of course. Avery's always right about these things. That's why I wanted to bring her out here in the first place. After everything that happened with her mom last year, and then all the stress from school, she needed to get away from everything. We both did, honestly. My family's been going through their own hell with the layoffs at the plant, and my dad's been taking it out on everyone in the house. This trip was supposed to be our escape. But now I'm wondering if we just traded one kind of trouble for another. The whispers start so quietly I almost miss them. At first I think it's just the wind moving through the trees. But there's no wind tonight. The air is completely still, thick in that way it gets before a storm. The whispers are coming from the fire itself. I lean closer, trying to make out what they're saying, and that's when I hear it. My own voice, drifting up from the blue flames. Maybe it's just the wood. Sometimes different trees burn different colors. My blood goes cold. Avery, did you hear that? She's already moving, climbing out of her sleeping bag with that careful, controlled way she has. Avery never rushes, never panics, but I can see the tension in her shoulders. I heard it. The whispers get clearer now, and it's not just my voice anymore. It's both of us, having the conversation we had maybe 30 seconds ago. But there's something off about it. Like listening to a recording that's been slowed down or sped up just enough to make it wrong. That's not how fire works, Cam, the fire Avery says. And her voice has this hollow quality to it, like it's coming from very far away. I grab a stick and start poking at the logs, trying to break up whatever's causing this. It's got to be some kind of gas pocket in the wood, or maybe... Stop! Avery's voice cuts through my rambling. She's standing now, and she's looking past the fire, deeper into the woods. There's someone out there. I follow her gaze and see them. 3 figures standing just at the edge of the firelight. They're maybe 50 yards away, but I can make out their shapes clearly enough. 2 guys and a girl all around our age. They've got their own campfire going, and they're just watching us. Hello! I call out, raising my hand in greeting. The figures don't respond, don't move. They just keep staring. Avery grabs my arm. Cam, don't... What? They're just other campers. Maybe they heard the weird fire thing too. I try to sound casual, but there's something about the way they're standing that makes my skin crawl. They're too still, too perfectly positioned. Like they're posing for a photograph. The fire voices start up again, but now it's not just our conversation. I can hear other people talking. Voices I don't recognize, having conversations I've never heard. A guy's voice, young, nervous. Tyler, man, I think we should pack up and leave. This place is giving me the creeps. Another voice, deeper, more confident. Come on, Ben. We drove 6 hours to get here. We're not leaving because of some weird campfire stories. A girl's voice, soft but worried. Ben's right, Tyler. Something doesn't feel right about this place. I keep feeling like we're being watched. I look at Avery. She's gone completely pale, and she's backing away from the fire like it might jump out and grab her. Those voices, she says, so quietly I almost can't hear her. They're talking about us, about feeling watched. The three figures are still there, but now I can see them more clearly. The girl has long dark hair and is wearing a red jacket. One of the guys is tall and lanky, the other shorter and stockier. They're not moving, but their fire is flickering in the exact same pattern as ours. This is impossible, I mutter, but even as I say it, I know something seriously wrong here. Fires don't just repeat conversations. The whispers from our fire are getting louder now, overlapping with each other in a way that makes my head hurt. I can hear fragments of conversations, some that sound like they happened hours ago, others that feel like they're from years past. A woman's voice, older, scared. Richard, we need to leave. Now before they find us. A man's voice, urgent. Elena, just a little longer. I'm so close to figuring this out. Avery makes it sound like she's been punched in the gut. She's staring at the fire with this expression I've never seen before. Not just fear, but recognition, like she knows those voices. We need to go, she says, and she's already moving toward our backpacks. Right now. I don't argue. There's something in her voice that tells me this isn't the time for questions. I start grabbing our gear, stuffing it into the packs as quickly as I can. The blue flames are getting higher now, and the voices are getting clearer. The girl's voice from the fire. Tyler, look at them. They're packing up. They're leaving. And then the tall guy's voice. No, wait. They're not leaving. They're us. From tomorrow night. I freeze, a chill running down my spine that has nothing to do with the night air. I look up at the three figures, and now I can see their faces clearly. The girl in the red jacket is looking right at me. And her mouth is moving, but the words are coming from our fire. Cam, you need to run, now. That's when I notice the journal. It's sitting on the ground next to my sleeping bag, exactly where I remember putting it when we first made camp. But that's impossible, because I didn't bring a journal. I never write in journals, that's more Avery's thing. But there it is, leather-bound and worn, with my name written on the cover in handwriting that looks exactly like mine. I pick it up with shaking hands and flip it open. The first page is dated today, with today's date, and it's written in my handwriting. Day 1, the fire burned blue tonight. Avery knew what it meant before I did. She always knows. The voices in the flames told us about the others, the ones who never left. We should have listened. We should have run when we had the chance, but we stayed, and now we're part of it too. The loop never ends, it just adds more voices to the fire. Tomorrow night, we'll be the ones watching new campers arrive. We'll be the ones they see across the firelight, and we'll try to warn them, but they won't listen. They never listen. I'm writing this so I'll remember for what good it will do. The blue fire takes your memories first, then it takes everything else. My hands are shaking so badly I can barely hold the journal. Avery, look at this. She's already got her pack on, and she's pulling mine toward me. I don't need to look at it. I know what it says. How could you possibly? Because I've seen this before. Her voice is flat, controlled, but I can hear the fear underneath. Not here, but somewhere else. A long time ago. With my parents. The three figures are moving now, walking toward us with that same too perfect movement. As they get closer, I can see that they're not quite right. Their faces are familiar, the kind of familiar that makes you think you've seen them before, but you can't remember where. And their eyes reflect the firelight in a way that human eyes shouldn't. Avery, we need to go. Now. She's already moving, heading away from the fire and deeper into the woods. I follow her, my pack bouncing against my back as we crash through the underbrush. Behind us, I can hear the voices from the fire getting louder, more insistent. My own voice, pleading, don't leave us here, don't let us become like them. Avery's voice, calm and analytical. The pattern repeats every night. New campers arrive, they see the fire, they hear the voices, and then they join them. And then a voice I don't recognize, older, more authoritative. The experiment was never meant to create this, but once it started, we couldn't stop it. The consciousness transfer fragments just loop, forever. We run until we can't hear the voices anymore, until the blue glow of the fire disappears behind the trees. When we finally stop, we're both breathing hard, and I can feel sweat cooling on my skin in the night air. What was that? I gasp out between breaths. What were those things? Avery is quiet for a long moment, and when she speaks, her voice is different. Smaller. More vulnerable than I've ever heard it. I think they were us. From tomorrow night. Or yesterday. Time doesn't work right here. That's impossible. Is it? She turns to face me, and in the moonlight I can see tears on her cheeks. The voices in the fire. One of them called the woman Elena. That was my mother's name. And the man. He sounded like my father. I remember her telling me about her parents. How her mother died when she was young, and how her father died in some kind of accident a few years later. She never talked about the details, but now I'm starting to wonder if there were details she never knew. We need to get out of here, I say. Back to the car, back to civilization. We can figure out what this is once we're safe. But even as I say it, I'm not sure we can get out. The woods around us look the same in every direction, and I can't remember which way we came from. The moon is full overhead, but it seems to be casting shadows in the wrong directions. And then, I hear it. The sound of a campfire crackling in the distance. Not behind us, where we left the blue flames, but ahead of us. A warm orange glow filtering through the trees. Do you see that? Avery asks, and I can hear the hope in her voice. Yeah, maybe it's other campers. Real ones. We move toward the light, and as we get closer, I can make out the shapes of two people sitting around a normal-looking fire. They're young, around our age, and they're talking in quiet voices. Thank God, Avery breathes. Finally someone who can help us. But as we get closer, I start to make out their faces. And my blood turns to ice. It's us, Avery and me, sitting around a campfire, having a conversation I remember having about 3 hours ago. Maybe it's just the wood, Fire Cam is saying. Sometimes different trees burn different colors. That's not how fire works, Cam, Fire Avery replies. I grab the real Avery's arm. We need to go, now. But she's staring at our doubles with that same recognition I saw before. This is where it starts, she whispers. This is where the loop begins. The fire versions of us look up then, and they see us standing at the edge of the firelight. Fire Avery's eyes widen, and she nudges Fire Cam with her elbow. There's someone out there, Fire Avery says, and her voice carries clearly through the night air. I watch Fire Cam look up and see us. I watch him raise his hand in greeting, just like I did maybe an hour ago. And I realize that we're not just trapped in some weird supernatural event. We're trapped in time itself. Hello, Fire Cam calls out, and his voice sounds exactly like mine because it is mine. Are you okay? Do you need help? I want to run, but my feet won't move. I want to scream, but no sound comes out. All I can do is watch as the loop plays out again, exactly as it happened before. And somewhere in the distance I can hear the blue flames crackling, and new voices joining the chorus of the trapped. Tomorrow night, we'll be the ones sitting by the fire. We'll be the ones other campers see in the distance, and we'll try to warn them, but they won't listen. They never listen, because the loop never ends, it just adds more voices to the fire.